yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Beat in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab it and taste it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Takes a thing to see. Just like a weed.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. And my oh my, do we have a yet another great stream set for you guys here on this hot, humid, sweaty, and disgusting Tuesday evening. I was actually talking to one of my friends from the West Coast, and it's 104 degrees over there. My fucking God, I feel bad for you. Listen, it's not that much better over here. 94, dense air. My room is like a fucking sauna, I swear to Christ. It's actually cooler here, and I'm still fucking sweating my balls off. Regardless of that, I guess it's fitting for the show that we're currently reviewing. How you doing, James Punaseca? Let me know if my mic is coming in good. I do believe it is. I did check it before I went live. Just let me know throughout the stream if we have any problems. But as of course, y'all already know who I am. I am Mr. Controversy and the operator of the Best Damn X, formerly known as Twitter, handle known to mankind. And this is the official rewind for NXT Heatwave, which of course streamed live on the Peacock, that is. Peacock. Get your mind out of the gutter, you fucking savages. Peacock. This past Sunday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm very happy that they are moving WWE PLEs back to 7 p.m. Matter of fact, I wish AEW would follow suit. Moving them to 7 p.m. would benefit everyone greatly. Now, Heatwave. I know a lot of people were wondering what I'm thinking about Heatwave or what I have to say about Heatwave. Was Heatwave worth it? Was it an objectively good show? Or maybe you're not because NXT sucks donkey dick. Maybe you're not thinking about NXT. I wouldn't blame you. NXT is actually going on right now. I'm pretty sure many of you are not going to be watching NXT. If you're James Punaseca, you want to go and do Bible study. If you're me, you probably want to catch up on AEW Collision from this past Saturday. If you're a Taylor Swift fan, you're listening to Taylor Swift music. If you're still on the West Coast, you're probably going in your pool before the sun goes down. Whatever. But Heatwave. I don't know what it was. I don't know if something was in the air. I don't know if it was the crowd. I'm not sure if Shawn Michaels just woke up on the right side of the bed. But for one night only, NXT delivered. And I'm not using that term lightly. I mean they delivered. Matter of fact, some people could say they over-delivered. Some people could say that NXT over-delivered. Now, I have been very hard on NXT, rightfully so. Some people think that I just shit on NXT because it's the cool thing to do. That's not the cool thing to do. It's not cool to shit on NXT. Matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. The cool thing to do is to praise NXT. That's the cool thing to do. The cool thing is to praise WWE left and right even when they suck just because they're quote-unquote hot. NXT is not a good show. 99.9% of the time, NXT is horrible. I'm sorry if that pisses you off. I'm sorry if that triggers you. But the only reason why it would trigger you is because it's the truth. But as far as Heatwave goes, again, I don't know what the fuck happened. But for one night and one night only, I'm not sure if this is going to continue past Heatwave. But NXT delivered their best premium live event of the year so far. This was the best NXT PLE of 2024 so far. This was better than Battleground. This was better than Vengeance Day. This was better than Stand and Deliver. Matter of fact, at some points during the show, it actually felt like I was watching a classic NXT Black and Gold show. That was the best era of NXT. Matter of fact, that era from a bell-to-bell standpoint was better than the Attitude Era. We're never going to get that back. But I'm not a hard guy to please. I'm not a hard guy to make happy. It doesn't take a lot to make me happy. It doesn't take a lot to get me to say that something is objectively good. It doesn't. All I ask is that you put effort into what you're doing, you give all matches ample amount of time, and you put pro wrestling first. And Shawn Michaels, for whatever reason, he must have been listening to me. He must have been listening to me, and we got ourselves a great show for 2 hours and 15 minutes. 2 hours, 15 minutes from bell to bell. NXT and the professional wrestlers on the show, they all brought it. They all brought it to Toronto. I got to give my props to everyone on this NXT card. And we're going to go in depth on everything that happened. And if you guys want me to tell you whether you should go out of your way to watch this, I'm going to say yeah. I'm going to say yes. There were 5 matches on the main show, 1 match on the pre-show. You could have skipped the pre-show match if we're going to be quite honest. But the 5 main show matches, all of them delivered. All of them delivered. Props to everyone on the NXT card on Sunday. If you guys haven't already done so, please make sure that you follow me on social media at HistoryMakerDJS. One more time, at HistoryMakerDJS, both on X and Instagram. You can also add me on my personal Facebook account. Please make sure, if you would like to collaborate with me or if you have a business offer or inquiry, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Please make sure that you like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is. All those links are in the description. You can also check me out on Rumble. Check me out on Rumble. We're building a nice solid following, a nice solid fan base over on Rumble. I got to give my shout outs to all members of the DJ Storms Posse because this past Sunday, we went live for the Rewind for Money in the Bank. We are over 230 views for the Rewind for Money in the Bank. I don't normally get those views on a regular live stream. I don't get those views on a live stream. So the fact that I got those views doubled from my usual amounts of views for my live streams, the fact that you guys doubled them for the Money in the Bank review, I greatly appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Keep it up. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you like the stream. I'm looking to continue my hot streak. The last 6 or 7 streams have all been over 100 views, plus some of them over 200. We're looking to continue that with this stream. If you haven't already done so, like the stream, share it out on all platforms of social media. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you are watching on YouTube, and of course hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube, because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh baby, it is the best motherfucking time to be on YouTube, because it is the only time that you are going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination. and this beautiful mustache right here. You already know to get your DJ Storms merchandise, whether it be wristbands, whether it be t-shirts, or whether it be the greatest piece of merch that you have ever fucking owned or you will ever own. It is the DJ Storms Switchblade comb, and just like me, just like a hot, fresh Angus beef burger off the grill, just like a nice lamb chop, just not like nice side of egg salad, maybe a little rice-a-roni with some cucumbers, whatever it may be, whatever you want to have for dinner, you can be so good. You can be scrumptious. You can be delicious. And you can be the tastiest snack in the IWC. And just like everyone wants a piece of the Stormsmeister, everyone is going to want a piece of you. Let me comb this pompadour right here. Look at how awesome. Look at how awesome this shit is. I know James Ponseca, he's got an official DJ Storm Switchblade comb. He's living the high life. And of course, please make sure if you have not already done so, hit the super chats, hit the super stickers, hit the super thanks, and become a member of the channel. It is one of the best decisions that you will ever make. Show some support. And next week will be my 7-year anniversary. 7 years as DJ Storms. Cannot even believe it has been 7 years already. It's unbelievable. Shit from 7 years ago feels like an entire fucking lifetime ago. 7 years I've been doing this, and I've only gotten better. And trust me, we ain't stopping just yet. It ain't over till I say it's over. Enough when I say enough. Needed that. Anyway, let's get into the review here. Rewind for Heatwave. We had a pre-show match. The women got a tag team match on the pre-show. It was Ariana Grace and Carmen Petrovich versus JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. Pretty standard women's tag team match here. Really meant nothing. And if I'm going to be quite honest, I really wish that WWE would stop doing the pre-show matches. Unless you're going to give us high-quality pre-show matches like AEW is giving us. Because AEW give us some quality matches on the pre-show. You take a look at what we got at Forbidden Door. That 6-man tag at Forbidden Door with Mystico, the Lucha Bros, and La Facción Ingobernables de Japón. That right there is what a pre-show match should be like. But this match, blah. Very blah match. Very standard match. Really would not recommend you go back and watch it. It meant nothing. It meant nothing. It was just done because Ariana Grace and Carmen Petrovich are from Canada, and the show was in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So they're from Canada. They're from Canada, and that was pretty much it. They're from Canada, and we get the match, and the 2 Canadian girls win. That was pretty much it. The main show started off with Wesley and Obafemi for the NXT North American Championship. I actually thought that this would have been one of the best matches on the show, maybe even the match of the night. So this was not the match of the night. But it was a very good opening match. That much I will say. So we had Wesley going into this match as the underdog trying to get back the championship that he really made prestigious. Obafemi obviously is the big guy, the big hoss, the monster that they've been building up. And again, got to give my props to Obafemi. Obafemi has done immensely better than I thought he would be in NXT. They put the North American title on this guy way too soon. He took it. He got better as time went on. And Obafemi, at this stage of the game, Obafemi is, and I will continue to say this, Obafemi is one of the best things about the NXT brand right now. Obafemi is one of the only good things about the NXT brand right now. Obafemi is going to be a big deal. Very, very pleased with how far Obafemi has come. Obafemi is awesome. As is Wesley. So these two kicked off the show. Lee was trying to use his quickness early on He had a springboard kick on Oba, but Oba, he was ragdolling Wesley around. He was tossing him into the air. He tossed him in the air with an F10, sent Wesley into orbit, looked fucking unbelievable. He was hitting backbreakers on Wesley. He was just relishing in his handiwork. He bear palmed Wesley across the chest. He just took his hand and just slapped him in the chest, and you heard it resonate throughout the Scotiabank Arena. It sounded fucking brutal. So afterwards, Wesley tried to mount a comeback here. Wesley would not quit. He hit a springboard forearm, super kick in the corner, and a tornado DDT for a 2 count. Wesley with a couple of tope suicidas, one after another. Springboard Meteora by Lee. It was caught by Obafemi. Wesley reversed Obafemi's counter into a Hurricane Rana pin. Oba just kicked out. Crowd was chanting NXT, NXT. We had a Meteor to the back. Wesley went up to the top. Springboard, but Obafemi caught him into a nasty uppercut. Lee kicked out. Lee fought back, and Lee reversed a powerbomb off the top rope into an X Factor. And then Wesley hit the cardiac kick. Oba kicked out at 2. Wesley went for a frog splash. This was one of the best spots of the entire night. Wesley went for a frog splash, and Obafemi caught him in a goozle. So picture Wesley coming off the top rope, full speed ahead, coming on down on Obafemi. Obafemi catches him in the neck with a goozle, and Obafemi, he is able to connect with a suplex toss. Looked a little sloppy, but it was a suplex toss nonetheless. And then Obafemi hit the pop-up, sit-down powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. Obafemi gets the victory over Wesley to kick off NXT Heatwave. A little sloppy at times. Little sloppy, but overall, it was a very good opener between Obafemi and Wesley. Wesley is excellent. Obafemi continues to shine. Obafemi is getting better. These are the matches that are going to make Obafemi into a better professional wrestler the more that he competes in them. And Obafemi ended up retaining the North American Championship. I was slightly shocked by this. I'm not going to lie. I had Wesley winning this. And the only reason why, not because I want to shaft Wesley to the NXT North American title, but because there's really nobody left for Obafemi. Obafemi has been dominating the NXT North American Championship division right now. He has run through everyone that they have put up against him. Who's left? That's the question that I have. Who exactly is left? Who is going to be left for Obafemi to beat? The man's been the North American champion for 6 months now, and he's run through all the competition, some of which are not even in NXT anymore. He's run through Dragon Lee, Lexis King, Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, Dijak, Joe Coffey, Ivar, and Wesley. There's really no one else. No one's been built up. So at this stage of the game, I only have one question. Who exactly is going to beat this man? Who? Obafemi and Wesley put on a very good open. A little sloppy at times, but still a very good open. Wesley loses. A little shocking. I don't want to shaft Wesley to the North American title picture only, but the question that I have now, who is going to beat Obafemi? They've literally built up nobody else to beat Obafemi for the NXT North American Championship. He's run through Dragon Lee, Lexis King, Dijak, Brooks Jensen, Josh Briggs, Ivar, Joe Coffey, and now Wesley. Who's left? Shawn Michaels better get to writing in that creative boardroom, because if he doesn't, they may very well have to end up having Obafemi relinquish the championship because there's no one that can beat him. And I hate that. That should never happen with a champion unless he or she is injured. But again, I ask, who is going to beat Obafemi? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll have to watch very, very closely. We'll see what happens. Moving on here, we got the NXT Women's North American Championship match. It was Sol Ruca versus Kalani Jordan. This is Kalani Jordan's first pay-per-view championship title defense as the Women's North American Champion. And by the way, this is also Sol Ruca's first ever NXT Premium Live event in a solo capacity on the main card. And I want to reference this heavily. Kalani and Sol, two women who have not yet had a Premium Live event spotlight in a singles capacity. Kalani was given the Women's North American Championship. These two women were given the spot in Toronto. And the crazy thing is these two women ended up outshining what we saw in the opening match. Crazy to think, I know. Crazy to fucking think, but they did. I was shocked. But in the end, Sol Ruca and Kalani Jordan, they put on a great match for the 13 minutes that it was. These two women worked very, very well together. And if you want to go out of your way to watch this show, this match is definitely something that I would recommend. The whole show is something that I would recommend, to be quite honest. But these two women who have yet to have a Premium Live event spotlight, and yet here they are, and they bring their absolute A game. They look like they belonged out there. They look like they belonged. That's what I want to see. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I reference to push new stars. You give a new star like Kalani Jordan an opportunity like this. You give a new star like Sol Ruca the opportunity like this. And what do? They go out there and they kill it. That's what I want to see from NXT. This is what NXT should be about. So both women had some nice counters early on. We had an X Factor by Sol for a 2 count. Both women are insanely athletic, by the way. We had a surfboard stretch by Sol Ruca. Arm drag and a Hurricane Rana by Jordan. We had a slingshot pescado to ringside by Kalani Jordan. Very nicely done. We had a super kick by Sol Ruca and a springboard forearm from the bottom rope. Sol Ruca, and I don't think I've ever seen this before. Sol Ruca does a springboard. Now, I thought she's going for a phenomenal forearm, similar to what AJ Styles does. But instead, she does a springboard, and then she does a 450 complete rotation. Kalani Jordan, she's not down. Kalani Jordan's actually standing up. Kalani Jordan is standing up. Sol Ruca does a springboard 450, and she finishes it off with a clothesline. Springboard 450 clothesline, never seen anything like that. Especially from a women's wrestler. That is fucking great. That's what I want to see. So, beautiful springboard 450 clothesline. Both women were trading strikes back and forth, back and forth. Kalani with a poison Rana. Springboard moonsault to the outside. Crowd was chanting NXT, NXT, NXT. The ref counted, but Kalani was caught with a PK by Sol Ruca. Moonsault out of the corner to the floor. Both women were down. The referee was counting, but both women were able to make it back into the ring before the referee counted to 10. So in the ring, Sol Ruca with a powerbomb. That got a 2 count. Both women traded roll-ups back and forth. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Both women were up top. Sol Ruca was knocked down. Kalani Jordan went for the 450. She got the 450, but Ruca got the knees up. She got the full rotation, but Sol Ruca got the knees up. Sol Ruca went for the Soul Snatcher, but it was stopped. We had a leverage pin by Sol Ruca, and Kalani kicked out. Then we had Kalani going for the Poison Rana again, and Sol Ruca delivered a reverse Alabama slam into the buckle, which looked very nice. Then she went up top, and it looked like she was going to do some sort of an electric chair from the top. Kalani Jordan reversed this And in a similar fashion from what we saw back at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn with Sasha Banks and Bayley, we saw an avalanche poison Rana from the middle rope by Kalani on Sol Ruka. Then in the opposite corner, Kalani with the springboard moonsault. Kalani Jordan retains the NXT Women's North American Championship, and Kalani Jordan gets the victory in her first singles match on an NXT Premium Live event. Great match between these two women. Great match between these two women. These are the types of matches that is going to make Sol Ruka better, and these are the types of matches that's going to make Kalani Jordan's title reign mean something. This is exactly what NXT should be. We need more of this. We need more of this on NXT. Right now, NXT is way too gimmicky. Back then, NXT was not a gimmick. NXT was a wrestling show. This is what we need. This is what is going to make the show better. The show will be better when you build it around wrestling and less around gimmicks. Excellent, excellent women's match right here. Kalani Jordan and Sol Ruka should be very, very proud of themselves. NXT Tag Team Championships. NXT Tag Team Championships. Nathan Frazer and Axiom versus Chase U. NXT Tag Team Championships. Now, we've seen what Chase U can do. We've seen what Nathan Frazer and Axiom can do. It seemed like this match was just kind of thrown together just to get Nathan Frazer and Axiom on the show, because you're not going to leave these guys off the show. They're the NXT Tag Team Champions. They're killing it right now as the NXT Tag Team Champions. Why would you leave them off the show? So, in that sense, I understand why you did the match, but there really wasn't much of a build for the match. However, when it's all said and done, this match may have been one of the best matches of the entire weekend. Matter of fact, I may very well go out of my way and say that this match was actually better than some of the matches on Forbidden Door, and it was better than some of the matches on Money in the Bank, too. I kid you not. NXT by default, if we're going to be quite honest, NXT by default has the best tag team division in all of the wrestling industry. Better than Raw, better than SmackDown, better than Ring of Honor, better than AEW. They got the best tag team division right now in the industry. No joke. No joke. But this match was fucking excellent. From start to finish, this went about 14, 15 minutes. These two teams fucking brought it. These two teams really fucking brought it. Matter of fact, this may have been the best that Chase U has looked since they came to NXT. I don't remember when Chase U looked this good. And the gimmick, I don't know what it is. The gimmick, it just kind of grew into something. And right now, they are one of the biggest babyface tag teams in the WWE. I never thought that Duke Hudson would have fit with Chase U so fucking well, but he does. He really does. So, Axiom and Andre Chase, they mixed it up a bit. Frazer came in. We had a low DDT by Frazer on Andre Chase for a 2. We had a clubbing blow to the back by Axiom. We had double super kicks on Andre Chase for a 2 count. Chase with a side effect. Duke got the hot tag. Duke lit up both Axiom and Frazer with some jabs and a couple of bionic elbows, or the Chase U elbows, if you will. We had a nice Uranagi on Axiom and a big pounce on Frazer. We had a gut check senton combo. Duke Hudson was taking down both Axiom and Frazer. So Frazer was turned inside out by a slingshot German suplex by Duke Hudson, which looked awesome. Awesome spot right there. We had Frazer on the receiving end of that. Then we had a Razor's Edge attempt, but Nathan Frazer and Axiom, they were able to dodge the Razor's Edge. and we had a Hurricane Rana into the turnbuckle by Axiom. We had a couple of tope suicidas by Fraser and Axiom on both men, and then they just started diving onto Chase U, one after the other after the other. It was dive after dive after dive. I think there was about 4 or 5 dives in there. So then Nathan Fraser with a springboard 450 splash on Duke. Duke kicked out. Duke Hudson paid tribute to Trish Stratus, and he hit a little Stratusfaction head scissor takedown. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome, this is awesome." Fraser with a springboard dropkick, tag to Axiom. Axiom with the Spanish fly. Fraser with the Phoenix splash. I thought that was it. Andre Chase breaks up the pin by stepping on Nathan Fraser, and then as he's stepping over Nathan Fraser, he delivers a Canadian Destroyer on Axiom, and it looked fantastic. All 4 men are down. Crowd popped big. Crowd is chanting, "This is awesome" again. So that spot right there, that may have been the best spot of the entire match right there. Tag to Andre Chase. Andre Chase with a big boot. We had a chop to Fraser. Fraser accidentally super kicked Axiom. So they're playing up the tension between the two of them. Andre Chase with the roll up. 1, 2. Axiom just kicked out. Crowd thought we had new champions right there. The crowd was chanting NXT, NXT, NXT. Andre Chase with the Chase U stomps. Give me a CHASEU. What's that spell? Chase U. So he did the Chase U stomps. Andre Chase with a diving crossbody off the top. Fraser saved it. Tag to Fraser. Chase went up. Fraser with a superplex. Then we got a little bit of Red Dragon with the Chasing the Dragon by Axiom and Fraser. The roundhouse kick, brainbuster combo, Chasing the Dragon. Then we had Nathan Fraser with a Tope Con Hero on Duke. Duke Hudson was effectively taken out. And then Axiom beautifully hit the golden ratio right on the fucking money. Boom, right to the face. And Axiom gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. And the champs retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. Excellent. Excellent fucking match. 0 complaints. Cannot sit here and complain one bit about what we saw. Excellent stuff. Matter of fact, I'm going to make a bold claim right here. Axiom and Nathan Fraser. I know it may be a little shocking to people that I'm going to offer such praise to 2 wrestlers who are from NXT. But listen, NXT's got a great roster. They just have terrible creative. But Axiom and Nathan Fraser are the best tag team champions in the industry right now. They are putting out some of the best matches that we have seen this year from a tag team perspective. They're better than the Awesome Truth when they were champions. They were better than DIY, better than the Judgment Day, better than the Undisputed Kingdom, better than the System in TNA, better than the Young Bucks. Axiom and Nathan Fraser right now are leading the tag team division. They are in the midst of the best tag team title reign of the year so far. And I'm very, very happy that those 2 are getting the showcase that they're getting. And to be quite honest with you, I actually can't wait to see who they fight next. They're the best tag team champions in the whole industry right now. Moving on here. Women's Championship match. Roxanne Perez and Lola Vice. NXT Women's Championship. I was not too keen on Lola Vice. Matter of fact, Lola Vice still has a little bit of ways to go. However, I got to give my credit where credit's due. Just like Obafemi, I was hard on him. I've been hard on Lola Vice, rightfully so, because she wasn't that good. But as I'm seeing Lola Vice more, I can tell that She is actively working to get better at what she does. She is actively working to become a better professional wrestler as she continues to compete in match after match after match. And that is something that I can respect. Was this the best women's championship match that we've seen? No, of course not. Of course not. Matter of fact, Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan was actually better than Roxanne and Lola Vice. However, I got to give my props to Lola Vice. She is slowly coming along, and I do believe she's going to be a big deal in due time. Roxanne Perez, on the other hand. Roxanne's been ready for the main roster. Roxanne doesn't even need the NXT Women's Championship. She doesn't. She's ready for the main roster right now. But I understand why she is not on the main roster right now, because right now on the main roster, the women's division seems to be occupied, and there's not really anything going on outside of the Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, Rhea Ripley love triangle shit. Outside of that, there's really no major happenings on WWE's women's division. Are the women getting more opportunities? Sure, you could say that, but from an overall perspective, the women's division on Raw and SmackDown they're just kind of there. They're just kind of there. I mean, you take a look at what's going on with Bayley. Bayley's NXT, her WWE women's title reign right now, Bayley's women's title reign since she won that title at WrestleMania, her title reign has fucking sucked. Her title reign has really fucking sucked. And that's disappointing. That is very disappointing. But I'm very, very pleased with what I'm seeing from Roxanne. Roxanne is awesome. The only downside to Roxanne is the fact that she's just a bad heel. And I don't mean that in the sense of, oh yeah, she's great at her job. No, she's a bad heel in the sense of she's not a believable heel. You look at Roxanne Perez. Do you see a heel? No. When I look at Roxanne Perez, I see the girl next door. When I look at Roxanne Perez, I see a chick that I want to fucking put a ring on. Roxanne is not a heel. Roxanne Perez needs to be a babyface. She doesn't come off like a believable heel. Are there certain points and times where she does come off like a little bit of a bitch? Sure. But from an overall perspective, all I see is, if I was to make a comparison, I know for a fact that there's a lot of people back in the day who watched classic Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network back in like the late 90s, the early 2000s, that's when Cartoon Network was the shit. And I remember there was a cartoon, I'm sure a lot of people will remember the cartoon, the Powerpuff Girls. That's what I see. I literally see Bubbles, the blue Powerpuff Girl. When I look at Roxanne, all I see is a fucking Powerpuff Girl. I can't take her seriously as a heel. It's like a fucking 7-year-old who's trying to act mad, but in reality, it's coming off as adorable. So I can't really take Roxanne Perez seriously as a heel. Outside of that, I mean, Roxanne's great at what she does. She's just a bad heel. But anyway, as far as the match goes, this was solid. It wasn't great, but it was solid. So Lola Vice, she was trying to get a little innovative. She had a cannonball off of the apron. We had Perez with a Russian leg sweep. Vice tried to mount the comeback with some quick roundhouse kicks. We had a hip attack in the corner. We had a sleeper hold by Lola Vice. Perez was able to reverse it. We had a spinning back fist. Missed. The spinning back fist missed. And Lola Vice's hand hit the post. So back in the ring, Perez worked on the arm, but Vice inevitably hit the spinning back fist, but Perez fell out of the ring. Back in the ring, Perez went for Pop Rocks. It didn't connect. Vice with some stiff kicks. Pop Rocks inevitably connects. We get 1, 2, but Lola Vice kicked out. Perez then really started to get vicious. She took apart the announce table and delivered a Pop Rocks onto the announce table, and the announce table did not break. So the crowd chanted, "Holy shit." Back in the ring, we had Roxanne Perez with a third Pop Rocks a fourth Pop Rocks, which looked very, very sloppy, and I'm glad they didn't end it on that. Then we get a fifth Pop Rocks, connects, Roxanne Perez retains the NXT Women's Championship, 1, 2, 3. Right outcome here. No reason why you're going to take the title off of Roxanne. If anything, the right woman to take the title off of Roxanne is Sol Ruca. And I'm actually glad that Sol Ruca didn't win the NXT North American Championship for the women. I'm glad that she didn't, because Sol Ruca, at this rate, Sol Ruca is the right woman to take the NXT Women's Championship off of Roxanne. She's the girl right now. She is. Minus that fourth Pop Rocks botch. This was a solid match. Not good, not great, but it was solid. And these are the types of matches, I've said it with Oba Femi, I'll say it with Kalani Jordan and Sol Ruca, these are the types of matches that will make Lola Vice into a better wrestler. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Lola Vice can conjure up going forward. Roxanne Perez retains, rightfully so. Trick Williams, Shawn Spears, Javon Evans, and All Ego. God, what a terrible fucking theme song. All Ego, Ethan Page. I love Ethan Page. Ethan Page, NXT Championship Fatal 4-Way. This was the match that I'm sure a lot of people were looking forward to. I'm sure a lot of people were looking forward to this match, and I'm sure a lot of people had their eyes set on this match, as did I. I did not give these four men enough credit, and I'm happy to admit when I'm wrong. I didn't really give a shit. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. I underestimated these four individuals. And in the end, for 18 minutes, we ended up getting what was one of the best matches that WWE has produced all year long. This Fatal 4-Way, imagine that. This Fatal 4-Way, out of all the matches this weekend for Money in the Bank and NXT Heatwave, out of all the matches, this Fatal 4-Way ended up being one of the best matches of the entire weekend. How about that? Unbelievable. And it ended with a new NXT champion, and we'll talk about that. Ethan Page, he was targeted by Javon Evans. By the way, I also got to give my props to Javon Evans. Javon Evans, 20 years old, 20 years of age, not even old enough to fucking drink. He's younger than me. He's 5 years younger than me. This is his first NXT Premium Live event, and he's main eventing the show. And not only did he main event the show, but he ended up being the standout of these four guys. Imagine that. Javon Evans ended up being the standout guy. Out of these four guys, Javon Evans was the standout. Imagine that. He looked better than Trick Williams did, and Trick Williams was the NXT champion. Go figure. So, Javon Evans with a tope suicida on Ethan Page. We had a hot start. Evans and Trick Williams, they mixed it up a bit. We had a Hurricane Rana by Evans, Trick Williams with a drop kick and a couple of side kicks. We had a double flapjack by Trick Williams on Spears and Page. Suplex to Javon. Onto Spears. Deadlift power slam by Ethan Page for a 2 count. We then had a great Tower of Doom spot. We had Shawn Spears was locked in a DDT position by Trick Williams. And then Trick Williams also had Javon Evans on his shoulders. Ethan Page came off the middle rope with a shoulder tackle to Javon Evans, which sent Javon Evans down in an electric chair drop. And then in turn, Trick Williams also DDT'd Shawn Spears. It was a huge Tower of Doom multi-move spot. Go out and watch it. I can't do it justice. It was a very innovative spot. So from there, Shawn Spears took the chair. He took his chair and he was delivering chair shots all around, one for each individual. We then had the chair set up in the corner and Shawn Spears with a C4 to trick Williams into the chair propped up at the bottom turnbuckle. Trick Williams ended up kicking out. Spears was super kicking everyone. Trick Williams with a flipping neck breaker on Ethan Page. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." So Trick Williams tore apart the table. Javon Evans, out of nowhere, this was nuts right here. Javon Evans with a Ricochet style, a Montez Ford style tope con hero over the post, sending Trick Williams through the barricade, looked absolutely fucking brutal. Back in the ring, we had Shawn Spears delivering a C4 off of the top rope. Ethan Page threw Shawn Spears out of the ring, and Ethan Page tried for the steal, but Javon Evans kicked out. So Page went up top, Shawn Spears caught him, and Javon Evans, out of nowhere, with a gorgeous, a fucking beautiful Spanish fly off the top, and then a springboard cutter. 1, 2, Trick Williams ended up saving it. Fucking amazing spot. Matter of fact, Javon Evans actually looked like he has a better cutter than Cody Rhodes. Can't even believe I just said that. So Evans and Trick Williams went at it. We had a tornado kick by Trick. Evans went up. Spears stopped him. Spears was caught with a top rope cutter. Evans with a twisting splash from the top. 1, 2, Trick saved it again. Trick saved the match again. Trick, out of nowhere, then pushed Evans off of the top rope. Evans went soaring through the air. He crashed into the announce table, and the announce table fucking shattered. Announce table completely fucking shattered. It absolutely crumbled. Shawn Spears, then with a sharpshooter on Trick Williams. Page came in with a big boot, and he delivered the Ego's Edge, but Evans put Trick Williams' foot on the rope. Then we get this ending here. We had the trick shot on Evans, trick shot on Page. Page fell into the cover on Evans, and Shawn Spears pulled Trick Williams out of the ring, not realizing that the referee was counting Ethan Page on top of Javon Evans, and Ethan Page ends up winning the NXT Championship in what was one of the best WWE matches all year, and Page ended up getting his just due. Page gets the job done here. Now, everyone's wondering, well, why did Ethan Page win? Why did Ethan Page win? Trick Williams, he didn't hold the title for long enough. I know. Why did Ethan Page win? It's quite simple why Ethan Page won. This had to be done because WWE, more specifically Shawn Michaels and whoever else is in NXT Creative realized that they fucked up. That's why. Battleground. We saw Battleground, right? Battleground took place on June 9th. Last month. Battleground took place on June 9th last month in Las Vegas. Ethan Page had his first ever match in NXT, and it was in the main event for the NXT Championship against Trick Williams. That was mistake number one. WWE foolishly made the mistake of thrusting Ethan Page into the NXT title picture legitimately right out of the blue. Right out of the gate. He comes into NXT, he gets an NXT Championship match. They don't bother to build him up. They don't bother to spend some time building up some other challengers for Trick Williams. They don't bother to spend time investing in Trick Williams' title reign. No, just here you go. Ethan Page is in NXT. Let's give him an NXT Championship match. That was the biggest mistake that they could have made. So they made that mistake. They backed themselves into a corner. Ethan Page needed to win that match. He didn't win that match. Trick Williams won that match. And a lot of people who haven't heard of Ethan Page, some people have. If you have, then you're a real wrestling fan. if you haven't heard of Ethan Page and it's your first time seeing him, then those people that saw him for the first time pretty much got the first impression from Ethan Page that he's a loser. The first impression of Ethan Page in WWE is Ethan Page eats the L. They needed to give Ethan Page the win here because if Ethan Page came to WWE and Ethan Page lost his first 2 pay-per-view matches, if Ethan Page came over from AEW to NXT and you thrusted him into 2 NXT championship matches and he lost both, then no one would take him seriously. That's why they did this. They did this because they had no choice. Shawn Spears is never going to be an NXT champion. Shawn Spears is there to help others get over. But Ethan Page was there to bring more value to NXT. Ethan Page is there to bring more value to NXT, and I'm glad that he's the NXT champion. But the reason why Trick Williams' title reign was cut short is because WWE realized that they fucked up last month and they needed to give Ethan Page the championship here because if they didn't, then Ethan Page's credibility would have gone down even further. That's why Ethan Page won. If anything, excuse me. If anything, WWE really just did this. Not only to do that, but WWE gave Ethan Page the championship just to kind of shove it in AEW's face. Meanwhile, us smart fans, us intelligent fans know that AEW didn't fumble Ethan Page. Tony Khan never fumbled Ethan Page. The only real fumble that AEW ever made was Wardlow. Wardlow was a fumble. Ethan Page wasn't a fumble. I want you guys to think about this for a minute. Why is it that Ethan Page was successful in TNA? Why is it that Ethan Page is now successful in NXT? Why? Why was he successful in TNA and WWE, but not AEW? It's simple. You take a look at the roster on AEW. Who are you going to push on that roster? Are you really going to look at Ethan Page and are you going to make him a main staple on AEW TV? No. Ethan Page is great at what he does. Everyone who's seen Ethan Page and knows what he's capable of, we all know how good Ethan Page is. We do. But let's be honest here. Let us be objective here. That's the whole reason why you come and watch DJ Storms, because you want objectivity. It is a fact that Ethan Page is great at what he does. However, it is also a fact that there are a lot, and I mean a lot of people who are above Ethan Page. Ethan Page, right now, he's great at what he does, but there are just way too many other individuals who are better than him. There's really nothing more to say. You take a look at the landscape of AEW, who the fuck do you want to see? Do you want to see a Darby Allin or an Ethan Page? Do you want to see a House of Black or do you want to see an Ethan Page? Do you want to see Mark Briscoe or do you want to see Ethan Page? Do you want to see MJF or do you want to see Ethan Page? Do you want to see Will Ospreay or do you want to see Ethan Page? Do you want to see Timeless Tony Storm? Do you want to see Willow Nightingale or do you want to see Ethan Page? Do you want to see fucking Swerve Strickland or do you want to see Ethan Page? Do you want to see Kazuchika Okada or do you want to see Ethan Page? You see where I'm getting at here? Ethan Page was never going to be a main staple in AEW. Now, he could have been a staple in Ring of Honor. He didn't want that. There's only one opportunity that AEW had to really make Ethan Page a champion, and that was when he was with Scorpio Sky doing the Men of the Year shtick. That was when they could have made Ethan Page a champion. They could have been the tag team champions. They elected not to go that route for whatever reason. But Ethan Page was never going to be a standout in AEW. Could he have won a tag team title with Scorpio Sky? Sure. Could he have won an international championship? Sure. But again, I ask, you're really going to push Ethan Page over all of those individuals that I just named? This is Ethan Page's forte. Big fish, little pond. TNA is a little pond. Ethan Page was a big fish in a little pond. Then you take a look at what's going on here in NXT. NXT has no name value. There are legitimately no big names in NXT. The only time we get a big name on NXT is when we get a special appearance from a Cody Rhodes or a John Cena or fucking whoever. But as far as Ethan Page goes, Ethan Page was one of the biggest stars in NXT when he came in. He came in and automatically he had the most name value out of anyone based on what he did over in AEW. So by default, Ethan Page is already at main event status because you take a look at everybody else on that roster. No one has the name value that Ethan Page has. Ethan Page is a big fish in a little pond. That's why he's successful in TNA. That's why he's successful now in NXT. They gave him the NXT title because they had no choice. Because if he lost 2 back-to-back premium live events, if he lost 2 back-to-back premium live event main event matches, his credibility would have been next to nothing. They had no choice but to cut Trick Williams' title reign short. That's why they did this. And either way, this is probably something that I would have done anyway. Because Trick Williams, listen, I respect Trick Williams, but he's not a main event guy. He's not a main event guy. At least not yet. He's got a long way to go. But other than that, I mean, from start to finish, this show was fucking great. Excellent bell-to-bell wrestling show. All the matches delivered. For the most part, I mean, every match had the right outcome. There's really nothing that I can sit here and overly complain about when it comes to NXT Heatwave. And NXT Heatwave capped off what was perhaps the best week that professional wrestling has had in a very long time. We had a very good Forbidden Door on June 30th. Monday Night Raw was solid. Dynamite last week was fucking great. Even Rampage last week was very solid. Money in the Bank was great. And NXT Heatwave was great. Ring of Honor too. Ring of Honor this past Thursday. It was a 50-minute episode. We had 3 quality matches. We had 3 matches set up for Death Before Dishonor. Tough to complain. Very, very tough to complain. I can't sit here and bitch about it. I really can't. Can't. Good week. Very good week for professional wrestling, to say the least. Ladies and gents, that is all that I got for you. That is all that I got for you. And I hope that you guys had a great time. Thank you. Thank you very much for stopping on by. Thank you very much for stopping on by. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. And I really, really, really hope that you guys are going to join me and Savage on Thursday. On Thursday, we got ourselves a big show. Savage Storm Wrestling Super Show coming on Thursday, episode number 5. Episode number 5 with George Savage, and we are going to have a damn good time. We are going to have a damn good time. We are going to have an extremely, extremely fun time. We are going to talk about Money in the Bank. We're going to talk about Heatwave. We're going to talk about Forbidden Door. We're going to talk about the road to Death Before Dishonor, All In and SummerSlam. Plenty more coming this Thursday at 8 p.m. on the Savage Storm Wrestling Super Show, episode number 5. And I hope you guys will be joining me and Savage for the show on Thursday. Don't forget, the LFU is on Saturday at 1 p.m. and we're going to have a good time there. And then I'll be going to the American Dream Mall. I'll be going to the American Dream Mall here in New Jersey on Saturday the 13th because I'm going to an East Coast professional wrestling event inside the American Dream Mall. Should be a fun event. It's going to be my first time experiencing ECPW, so I'm hoping to get some quality wrestling from that show. Till next time, people, you already know the drill. I am DJ Storms. This has been The Rewind. But before we get out of here, let me ask y'all, people. Let me ask y'all who runs the IWC. Matter of fact, it's a rhetorical question. I'll tell you who runs the IWC. Who but DJ motherfucking Storms. And don't you ever, ever, ever forget it.
Retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution!